Part 1. Around mid to late 2024, a young man joined Reddit under the default username, Inside Grant. From there, he joined a couple of communities, most of which were for young Filipino adults. Part 2. One of these communities was called ITAPPH, which stands for I Took a Picture PH, a Filipino-based community for photography enthusiasts. Soon after joining, Grant found out this community had a public chatroom for off-topic conversations. He joined their conversation, made some friends, joked around and eventually got banned from the chatroom for a bad joke. You see, they had a time of day every day where people were allowed to send pictures of themselves before it gets deleted a few minutes later to protect people's identity from potentially harmful users. The joke he made and eventually got banned for was that he took a screenshot of one of the guy's selfies. He didn't actually take a screenshot of anyone. He just wanted to poke fun at the stupid idea that these people were willing to compromise their safety on the internet for a minute or two before their photos get deleted for their safety. He explained his side to one of the moderators via DM, yet nobody believed him or brought him back to the chatroom. Admittedly, it was a bad joke, but they never proved that he did any harm because he never did take a screenshot of anyone without their consent. Part 3. For a while after that, Grant just scrolled down his Reddit feed until one day, he noticed that one of the other communities for young Filipino adults he joined also had a public chatroom. This community was Adulting PH. So he joined the chatroom and quickly noticed that there were a lot of members spreading obscene messages. All he could do was report those messages and block those members, but without an active moderator to ban them, his reports were useless. He needed a similar space to talk about adulting minus the members spreading obscene messages. This led him to create a private group chat called Tips for Adults PH. The Tips for Adults PH chatroom was not officially connected to any community as Grant didn't know how to make his own community at the time. It was merely a private group chat where he could invite select members of Adulting PH, thus filtering out the obscene members. Things went well for a while, but as the obscenity in the Adulting PH chat increased, the community's demand to be invited to Tips for Adults PH grew, ultimately adding more members to the private group chat, which had a limit of 100 members. A limit imposed by the platform itself. They wanted to expand, but they had to expand somewhere else. Part 5. So Grant learned all he could about creating a Discord server and adding bots and creating rules. Once the Tips for Adults PH Discord server was set up, he would tell everyone in the private group chat to join there, and although the majority did, some preferred to stay behind and not join another platform. Regardless, the demand of Adulting PH members to join Tips for Adults PH still grew, so Grant kept adding them to the Discord server instead of the already full private group chat on Reddit. Growth was pretty quick, and it soon got to the point where Grant could no longer keep up with the activity, especially since several members were online even when he was asleep, so he had to assign a few members to join his team of moderators, which he called the Council. 2 people were chosen: Hensi, who was chosen by the majority of the community, and Mello, who was Grant's choice as he seemed to know more than Grant did about handling Discord servers. Part 6. It didn't take long for a handful of our female members to reach out to Grant to report that one of the moderators was displaying predatory behavior towards them. It was Mello. Grant asked all those women to send him a screenshot of their conversations with Mello for proof. Grant and Hensi reviewed the messages, and the two quickly agreed that Mello should be banned from the Discord server and the private Reddit group chat before he could do further harm. Part 7. With Mello and other potential predators gone, and the community suggesting more features be added to the server, this community was no longer just about giving tips for adults. One of the community's suggestions was that we add a chatroom to the Discord server dedicated to those who want to rant about their problems separate from the general discussions of the community. This ultimately gave members a safe space to express themselves without being judged. Not long after, Grant renamed both the Discord server and the private Reddit group chat to Safe Space PH, as suggested by Hensi. Part 8. Speaking of Hensi, he had a side quest which Grant wasn't informed about beforehand. He was somehow able to reach out to Adulting Fizz creators to convince them to make both of them moderators of the community. He got in first and Grant was added some time later. At the time, there was a bot attack on the community which led to the creation of numerous posts for a crypto casino scam being spammed all over the community, and the admins of Reddit PH, who are actual Filipino employees at Reddit, saw that the creators of Adulting PH were approving these scam posts, although the creators denied doing that, which led to the conclusion that they were being hacked. Either way, whether the creators really approved those scam posts or they were hacked, their accounts were clearly compromised, and because they were the top moderators of the community at the time, this could have doomed Adulting PH overall, but the Reddit PH admins were quick to remove their accounts from the team of moderators before the issue could affect the community as a whole. This left the inactive moderator and Hensi as the only surviving Adulting PH moderators. Part 9. From there, Hensi added Grant into Adulting Fizz team of moderators and added the community's creators back in the team as well, but the Reddit Fizz admins saw this and thought that we were all compromised because Hensi added the creators who were already suspicious to the admins due to the then recent issue, and Grant was added right around the same time. Part 10. With the creators, Hensi, and Grant all removed from the team of moderators, this left Deep Fried Orange, aka the inactive moderator, to be the top and only moderator. It took a while to get out of the admin's radar, but when they did, and finally got to contact Deep Fried Orange, they managed to convince her to add Grant and Hensi back, since it was only the creators who were involved in the previous issue, and it worked, although DFO still wanted to keep her position as top moderator. Meanwhile, the creators had to make new accounts and continuously grow them for a few months to rejoin the team. This is because Reddit doesn't allow new accounts with low karma points to become moderators. Part 11. Eventually, the creators requested Grand to create an official Discord server for Adulting PH and make them the moderators there. This confused Grand as he had recently discovered and joined a Discord server with the Adulting PH name and logo. As it turns out, this server was created by an Adulting PH member without the consent of the creators themselves. Since then, Grand made it known to the Adulting PH community that Discord server was not the official Adulting PH server. The creators and Grand agreed to turn the Safe Space PH Discord server into the official merged server of Adulting PH and Safe Space PH, ultimately resulting in renaming our Discord server to Adult Safe Space PH, where the Adulting PH creators would also be moderators as part of the council. Part 12. And so the council grew, even more so when the members of the community wanted separate group chats for separate genders. We made this happen when we recruited female moderators to help oversee the conversations in the female group chats. Part 13. After all that I've talked about today, do you still remember Hensi? He got into a car accident. A minor car accident, he said. A car accident so minor, he was still actively recruiting members for our Discord server from the hospital. Or so he said. He was in the hospital. During this time, everyone including the Adulting PH creators knew Hensi was in the hospital due to the car accident, and at some point, the creators offered him a small amount of money to thank him for helping them with the spam attack in the community. They gave the money in hopes that it would help lessen his supposed expenses. Hensi asked for more, but they had no more to give. Hensi later told Grand that he did that to test whether or not the creators had the heart to help him more, and because they refused, he got angry and threatened to have his aunt, who according to him was an employee at Reddit, delete the Adulting PH community from existence. In that same conversation, Hensi wanted to give Grand the money he received from the creators, but at the time, Grand had no means to accept the money. Hensi then said he'll just use it to boost the Discord server, and because Grand found it suspicious that he was going to use the money on anything else but his supposed hospital bills, Grand told him not to use that money on the Discord server. Not long after, Grand received messages from people saying Hensi asked them to lend him some money and that they started to worry he might not pay them back as he no longer responded to their DMs soon after receiving the money. That's when one of the APH creators asked Grand to gather all of these people in a private group chat. There, they talked about why they lent Hensi their money, and they quickly found out that Hensi told them different things. Some were told he'd use it for the hospital bills, and some were told he'd use it to pay someone who can create better security systems for the Discord server. Feeling that something's not right, they started talking about everything they knew about Hensi, and it became apparent that Hensi told them different things even in regards to what city he's from. It became apparent that his word cannot be trusted. The APH creators told Grand to tell DFO to remove Hensi from Adulting's team of moderators on Reddit and to make Grand the new top moderator. Once done, Grand never heard from DFO again, but he did gain full control over the community. He then banned Hensi from the Discord server. Realizing that we've all figured out what Hensi was up to, he deleted his account, created a new one and joined ITAPPH and told all Grand's haters from that community what had happened, but no one wanted to side with him as they also believed he isn't planning to pay back what he owes our members. The grand total was 11,520 pesos, which he never paid the members who eventually left the community both on Reddit and Discord. Part 14. With Grand being the new top moderator, Hensi gone and DFO still inactive, the APH creators eventually grew their new accounts and had Grand gradually remove DFO and a bunch of other inactive friends that the APH creators asked Hensi to add to the team a while back. Once Grand was the only moderator left and the APH creators' new accounts finally met Reddit's requirements, they had him add them back to the team and remove himself. They did this gradually for about 3 weeks in hopes that the Reddit PH admins would not notice and remove them all like what happened before, but they noticed. They noticed the previous moderators were removed and asked if Grand needed any help with getting more moderators, to which he respectfully declined. Everything went well. The creators were back in the team. All Grand had to do was remove himself because Reddit, the platform, wouldn't allow him to give the creators the top moderator spot as is, so they agreed to have him be temporarily removed so they can get the top moderator spot and that they'll add him back to the team afterwards. They even offered to pay him 2,000 pesos to do it. That all happened. In the meantime, Grand created more communities under the Adulting PH brand. Part 15. Grand was eventually added back to the team but no longer as the top moderator. The APH creators also added a friend of theirs to the team and still put Grand below all three of them. The creators got what they wanted, and since then, their tone changed and for the most part, they were no longer communicating with Grand. They got what they wanted. Soon after, Grand got a message from one of the Reddit PH admins saying they suspended the creators' new accounts due to suspicious activity. The last time they talked to Grand was when they noticed the previous moderators were being removed, and then this. They noticed how Grand used to be the top moderator and then he was at the bottom only 2 weeks later, putting the newer members of the team at a higher position. Of course Grand couldn't tell the admins that these people were the creators, that these were the same people who were caught approving scam posts into the community, that these were the same people they removed in the first place. The admins said they'd carefully select new moderators themselves if Grand ever needed more moderators to help him. The creators said they'd create newer accounts to get back into the team, though the admins already told me not to add them back. Regardless of who you think is in the right or wrong, Grand became the only moderator of the subreddit where he'd have to go through every post and comment of almost 400k members. Fortunately, the council was overseeing the Discord server which would eventually be called Adulting PH Communities, as Grand was, at this point, the top moderator of that community and all the smaller communities under its name. Part 16. At the time of making this video, the Adulting PH TikTok account owned by the creators of the subreddit has resumed uploading content after their hiatus since August 2024. Their content primarily consists of screenshots of the Adulting PH members' posts. Grand received confirmation that they do not ask permission from the people who made those posts before including them in their videos. Grand eventually announced to the entire subreddit that the former moderators of Adulting PH were making content out of members' posts with their names shown without their consent. In line with this, Grand created an official Adulting PH TikTok account but barely found the time to post it. Part 17. At some point after all these issues, Grand made an offer to those who posted advertisements in the Adulting PH subreddit. The offer was that these people would be given 1 out of 6 limited slots in the Community Highlights tab in exchange for a bit of money. Most people declined the offer but 3 accepted it. Despite 3 people having accepted the offer, only 2 of them paid. They got their money's worth with their post pinned in the Community Highlights. The third person who accepted Grand's offer was the only one to draft a contract with him. She asked Grand to fill in his details and sign the contract. He complied, but eventually after he sent back the digital contract with his details and signature, she said she no longer wants to push through with the deal, thus terminating the contract, and the agreement states therein. No work was done and more importantly, no money was paid. This went on for a while. People would spam advertisements in the subreddit. Grand would offer them a space to post their ad in exchange for money and most people would politely decline, but eventually word got out. Word quickly spread to the main Reddit PH subreddits and soon Grand was invited to the Discord server for Reddit PH moderators to be held for questioning, supposedly by the Reddit PH admin who is the only person with the jurisdiction over Grand, but he was absent from the conversation, which turned into a PH mods vs Grand fight. In there, he was told that him monetizing the subreddit was against the rules of Reddit and that he should be banned for it. One of the moderators also sent in that Discord server copies of the contract he signed with his third client. The contract that has his personal details. This moderator deleted it minutes later, claiming they deleted it because they forgot to censor the client's name, to which Grand responded that if they forgot to censor the client's name, then they most likely revealed his details to that Discord server of over 400 people. Arguments happened, they denied exposing his details, but in short Grand was doxxed. The Reddit PH admin eventually came and removed Grand from the server, admitting that the conversation has become toxic. About a day or 2 later, Grand and all known accounts made by him was banned from the platform entirely and the rest of the council was removed from the subreddit's team of moderators as well. Somewhere between the doxing and Grand being banned, Grand left the Adulting PH community's Discord server and wanted to go off-grid due to the doxing. Part 18. With Grand having left the Adulting PH community's Discord server, the ownership was transferred to the next mod in line, and with none of the council's members having access to the Adulting PH community, we no longer had the right to use the Adulting PH logo and name for our Discord server, which we finally changed to the Quarterlife Society.